Shalom, brothers and sisters. Are men and boys supposed to cry? Are men and boys have the right to express their emotions, to express their feelings? When a man or a boy is annoyed, what does your culture say about them? Why do men suffer in silence? Majority of men, not all men, but why do most men suffer in silence? What went wrong some time back when men are told never to cry, when boys are told when they cry, they are expressing weakness? Are men and boys supposed to cry openly? What changed? Yes, even men cry. But why do we find most men suppressing their emotions? The problem is the culture. Most cultures in the world teach men that when they cry, when people see their tears, they are expressing weakness. That's a big lie. God created us with emotions, both men and women. So when a man decides to cry, when a man decides to show tears, it doesn't mean they are weak. And when a woman shows her tears, it doesn't mean that she's strong or weaker. No, everybody can cry. But the problem is that boys, even very young boys, have been told by their culture, by their parents, their teachers, people around them, that when they cry, they are showing people that they are weak. That is not a sign of weakness. We find that even in the Bible, Jesus had cried. Peter had cried. The book of Luke, chapter 22, verse 61 and 62, it is written, "The Lord turned and looked straight at Peter. Then Peter remembered the word the Lord had spoken to him. 'Before the cock crows today, you will disown me 3 times. And he went outside and wept bitterly." So Peter went outside and wept bitterly. But there's nowhere in the Bible find that people saying that Peter was weak. No, Peter was not weak. He realized he made a mistake. The way Jesus told him, you will make this mistake. And he regretted and he cried. He wept bitterly. The book of John, chapter 11, verse 33 to 35, it is written, "When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled." So Jesus was deeply moved in spirit and he was troubled. "Where have you laid him, that is Lazarus?" he asked. "Come and see, Lord," they replied. Jesus wept. So when Jesus saw Lazarus had died, the sister to Lazarus were crying. People around were weeping. Jesus also wept. But it never meant that Jesus was weak. They never showed that Jesus was inferior by crying. So the problem is our culture, the way we are brought up, thinking that when you cry, when a man cries, is weak. So outside there, when you see your husband crying, when you see your boyfriend crying, when you see your father crying or your brother, it doesn't mean that they are weak. And brothers outside there, when you feel like crying. When you feel like when you by shedding tears, you get relieved, please shed tears. Don't be coerced by anybody outside there. And if somebody told you that when a man cries is showing that he is weak, that is a lie. We have seen men suffering domestic violence. In most cases, when you talk about domestic violence, people think that, oh, maybe the women suffer or wives suffer. Remember, also husbands suffer. When you go to authorities, maybe a sub-chief or chiefs or police stations, you'll find that there are cases, men reporting that they have been beaten by their wives. But the unfortunate thing is that men go and report these cases, But they tell authorities not to arrest the wife, not to arrest the woman, and not to tell anybody. So a man suffers domestic violence, he reports the case, but tells the authority to keep quiet. He can never get assistance. Sometimes boys are abused outside there. They never say anything. Some have been molested when they were very young, but come and report these cases when they are very old. Something maybe happened 30 years, 40 years ago. Because during that time, they think, since you are a man, you are a boy, you are not supposed to cry, you're not supposed to report such cases. How many people have been jailed by their wives, by their girlfriends, or women? And they find there is no assistance anywhere. Because in most cases, when domestic violence is reported, some think a man is lying. People rush very fast and judge. They say a man can never be beaten by his wife or any woman. And sometimes men shy away from saying these things because they think the community will misjudge them. The community will tell them they are lying. Sometimes we overreact. Sometimes we misjudge people. Even authorities outside there, sometimes men report that when they go and report, the same authorities laugh to them. They tell them, oh, you can be beaten by a woman. A real man can never be beaten by a woman. So if you're a man and you decide not to beat a woman, not to beat the wife, the authorities or some of them think that, oh, you are weak. But please never do such a thing. And authorities outside there, you must be careful and you must be neutral when such cases are reported to you. Because sometimes when this man is jailed and come out of the jail or is fined, sometimes they go outside and revenge and woman suffers. So we are trying to correct a mistake by doing two wrongs. Two wrongs can never make a right. Boy child outside there, girl child outside there, they all have their rights. As we are concentrating on the rights of girl child, we should also never forget the rights of a boy child. Otherwise, we are doing demonic work. So do not allow any person outside there, whether a man or woman, to suppress his emotions or her emotions just to please the society. When you see somebody crying, doesn't mean they are weak. God knows why he created emotions and why he makes people cry. And why when people cry, there are tears. This one we can never change. There's no any AI or artificial intelligence which can stop this. And those people who teach outside there that emotional intelligence for a man is him to keep quiet when he's suffering, that is a lie. May God bless us and give us wisdom as we continue helping each other. Amen.